Hi guys and welcome back to My Dank Dog. In this episode we're going to be calibrating my pH pen that I'm currently using for my DWC and Coco grow, as well as any other soil grows that I'll be doing in the future. It sounds pretty basic, but it's needed. Let's get into it. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you very much to Vivosun for sponsoring the channel. And if you guys are in the market for any Vivosun gear, you can save 15% with my promo code MyDankDog at vivosun.com. That's 15% off with my code MyDankDog. And there's no minimum purchase, guys. This is a 5-in-1 pH meter with pH, salinity, TDS, EC, and a temperature function. It's pretty standard. This one's got batteries included in the cap and it's waterproof, which obviously makes sense because you're going to be dipping it in water. I always find this a little bit tricky. It's a bit of a pain in the bum, so I do recommend that you guys get yourself some extra calibration solutions because you're going to need them, because you will need to calibrate this pen and recalibrate this pen the longer that you have it. The instructions are pretty straightforward. It's got an accuracy of 0.05 or 0.01 depending on what you're measuring for. The calibration solutions are pretty standard here as well. You get 3 of them. You get a 6.86, you get a 4, and you get a 9.18. And we have to mix these solutions in the 3 cups and then calibrate to each one of them. I'm using distilled water, as you can see. The instructions just say to use purified cold water. So we're going to be topping up these cups with 250 mils of this distilled water. Then we're going to be putting each solution into the 250 mils of cold water in each cup. And then we're going to mix it, stir it until it's fully dissolved. It does take a while to dissolve all of this solution. You are going to have some build up at the bottom of each of the cups. So you do have to make sure that you give it a good stir. And when you're stirring each one of these cups, make sure that you are cleaning your spoon before you go into the other cup. You don't want to kind of contaminate the pH values with the previous cup. So make sure that you are cleaning your spoon after every stir and that it's clean for when you're putting it into each one of its new cups. You just got to make sure that that's all fully dissolved to get your full pH values with this water. So it did take about 10 minutes of stirring before it was all fully dissolved. As you can see, it's all pretty good right now. So we're going to calibrate the pen by switching it on and making sure that it's in the pH mode. I'm going to clean it first in the distilled water to make sure that there is no kind of contaminants on this pen, and you're going to be doing that after every time that you put it into one of these solution values too. So make sure that you've got this cup of purified water at the side so that you can make sure that everything is clean between each cup. I'm going to switch it on and then we're going to start in the middle with our 6.86 pH. Now I have to wait until it kind of equals out to 6.86. If it gets to 6.85 like this, I'm okay with that. I'm going to hold this button down until it starts to flash. And then as soon as it's flashing, I'm going to let it go and it will calibrate to this solution's value. As you can see, it is now calibrated this solution to 6.86. So that's pretty good. I'm just going to clean it off. Going to repeat the process now in the 4. So I'm going to wait until it gets to 4 or as close as, and as you can see, I'm just going to repeat that process where I hold the calibration button in, and then as soon as it starts flashing, it's calibrated to that value. It does take a bit of time on some of these, so it's kind of like watching paint dry, but there we go, we got the 4. So now I'm going to hold the calibration button in until it starts to flash. And then once it's calibrated, I'll take the pen out and clean off the sensors at the bottom. So I've got 2 of them now. I'm just going to clean this off and then calibrate it to the last one. Tip here, guys, don't do what I did. Don't use these plastic solo cups because They have a tendency to tip because they have a wide brim and a taller center of gravity. So it's a little bit tricky when you're trying to put your hand inside the cup like this. And then, as you can see, I kind of nearly tipped the cup over here. But I managed to salvage that. We are calibrating this to 9.18. So I'm just going to clean this off. I'm going to turn the pH pen off, clean it, and then test the calibration of each one of these solutions to see if it matches the values of the mix. And as you can see, this is counting down pretty slowly. We are on 4.07. Now, I haven't had any issues in the past when my kind of calibration has been off by 0.1. I don't think it's a big deal. You guys may feel a little bit different about that, but there are more accurate pens on the market. They do cost way more, but it's totally up to you whether you want to spend that amount of money. Just slowly watching this, we're on 4.02. Is it going to go down any further? 4.02 is actually, 4.01. That's close enough for me, but I'm just going to see if we can get it down to the 4 dead on. Come on, give me a 4. All right, and come on, 4 for me. Give me a 4. Oh, there you go. All right, cool. So that's pretty good. That's spot on. We've got a calibration of 4. So we're just going to clean this off and then put it into the next solution cup, and hopefully it matches up as spot on as that one did. But again, I don't mind if it's in the range of what I'm going for. This is 6.86. We're on 6.83. And this is just kind of as interesting as watching paint dry. 6.84. That's pretty close for me. I'm happy with that. I'd be happy to have, oh, there you go, 6.85. Are we going to get the 6.86? Come on, come on, come on, come on. And 6.86. Come on. All right, 6.85. Is that as close as we're going to get? All right, I think 6.85 is as close as we're going to get. I'm happy. Oh, it's gone down. Guys, I'm happy with this, but this is the nature of the beast. This is what it's like. So it's never fully accurate. As I said, you can get much more accurate pens that are more expensive. So 6.84, I'm happy with that. 6.84, 6.85 on the 6.86. I'm just going to clean this off and then we're going to put it into the last solution. These cups are a pain in the bum. Don't use these cups. They're light. They are kind of wide brimmed and their center of gravity is too high. So you do have the tendency to kind of knock them over when you're putting this pen in and out and putting your hand in to press the calibration button. So let's just see where we're going to max out here. Our calibration is coming in at 9.17. And again, I'd be happy with that. It's at 9.18. So let's just give it a little bit. See if it goes up. Just there you go. Oh, it said 9.18 before it switched off. But we'll give it another go. Let's just switch it back on and see what it comes into. All right, let's put it back in there. Let's have a look. It is 9.19. Cool. Great. I'm happy with that. So again, guys, I would get more of these solutions just to kind of make sure that you can recalibrate your pen. It is a pain in the bum. And if you spill these as well, you need to have extra solutions. It is a bit messy. It is a bit tricky. It is, yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the bum, to be honest with you guys. So this is a quick experiment. I'm going to be using the Coco Grow A and B mix here. It does say to use 2 ml per liter. Now I find with the advanced nutrient solutions that I usually use about 50%, maybe 75%, because the values are not as kind of claimed. So I never use full, but we're going to use the full 2 ml per liter here and see what values we get. Now this is supposed to be a good value for Coco, so it should be kind of like 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, something like that. let's just give it a test with our calibrated pen, and it's coming into 6.4, almost going up to 6.5, which is for some people a little bit high for Coco. It's perfect for soil, but maybe in Coco you want it to be around 6.2. There is a range. Obviously, you can go from probably 5.8, 5.9 up to maybe 6.3, but I'd say 6.5 is probably better for soil. But again, I'm just showing you that this is the solutions that we can test now. In this mix that I've done for my DWC, I want the pH value to be lower. So this is good for me. I've got it down to 5.80. So that's good. You can also see the temperature of the water there. So 5.81, this is good. I can also check the ppms as well. Below 1,000 and above 500, something along the lines of that. So I tried to get it at around 600 or 700 ppm, but you can change that depending on how old the plant is or what you want to give it. So this is early stages, the kind of beginning of my DWC. It's coming in at around almost 600 ppm, which I think is going to be fine. So again, it's up to you. You can mix your solutions, and you should check the values of where your plant should be in its age, so veg and bloom and stuff, and you can play around with your ppm values and your pH values. But just showing you that this pen is calibrated. You got to play around with that stuff yourself. If you ever see any deficiencies, it could be to your pH values, so you need to make sure that you're checking the runoff and the water before it obviously goes in. Thanks for tuning in, guys. You guys did ask for some more simple descriptive videos here, so I'm going to try to go more detail in some of the things like this, which I find a little bit boring, but obviously it is useful to see this stuff because it is part of your grows. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I do appreciate it. Stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to be going over the medusas in the DWC and the Coco. Bye-bye.